What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another day, another content drop from Steel City Interactive. And yesterday we got a render, but today we are getting another gameplay clip. Now we got one 5 days ago of Sugar Ray Robinson ducking out the way of some shots, and we got obviously Crawford dropping Gatty and Wilder dropping Adelaide. Now we've got a very interesting one. We've got a body drop, so a body knockdown, body shot knockdown, whatever you want to call it, between David Adelaide and Joe Lewis. And as to the last clip, this one also looks great. The first two are kind of a showing of like they don't look good, whereas the last one we saw the Sugar Ray Robinson one, and now this one are a clear step up of like, okay, the game is coming together, which we love to see. So as always, before I break it down and stuff like that, I'll show it to you guys in full without me talking. So here it is right now.
Almost saw a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute, he caught him clean. The brown bomber goes to the canvas. Almost saw a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute, he caught him clean. The brown bomber goes to the canvas.
So right off the rip, the obvious things are the great headshot that Adelaide lands on Joe Lewis, the great body shot that he lands to drop him, and then Joe Lewis's reaction of being dropped with the body shot of punching the canvas, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. But now we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. For starters, we know that Adelaide is part of day one. I'm going to assume as well that Joe Lewis is, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a scan of Joe Lewis over the next couple of days to confirm that he is in day one of early access. He might not be, but obviously I like to assume that he is. Now in this clip we can see the HUD, we can see that it's the first round, and we can see slightly the left side players' stamina as well as health, which doesn't really seem to be too bad. But obviously, remember guys, I'm looking down at my phone. That's obviously why because I can control the slow-mo a little bit better. Because in editing, it's easy to slow it down, but I can't. Well, you guys know, anyways. Right off the bounce, we see Joe Lewis load up for a backhand uppercut that actually just kind of bings on the guard of David Adelaide, almost like he's got his guard up and almost kind of just a little tappy tap, like doesn't let the uppercut sink through, which is lovely. Catches it and then straight away releases into a body uppercut. Obviously we see Joe Lewis kind of go back. I would like to have seen a bit more reaction there, if I'm honest, because he is leaning back completely exposed and takes a big shot. Of course, just one thing to remember, guys, with the shaking of the screen, the vibration, the flash, whatever you may see, all of those things have already been confirmed that we can turn them off when we own the game ourselves. I think they're just showing us these these are all the features you can have, and you'll be able to customize it to your own liking. For me personally, I'll take off the shakes and the flashes because I just want to be able to land those shots and not have land a big shot and not miss another shot because the screen is shaken. So I get a lot of questions about that, and don't worry, shakes and stuff like that will be able to be turned off when you own the game. Of course, the first shot is great to the body, a real nice kind of that shovel hook uppercut is great. The only thing that's lacking is just Joe Lewis doesn't really fold. I suppose he's a tough dude. I suppose you could wire it down to Joe Lewis would be able to eat that shot. Just for me, I just like this. I feel like if someone's leaning back and you hit them there, they're going to at least come up quicker. But that's probably the only real issue I have with this clip so far. And then Adelaide lands a big backhand hook over the head, over the top. And one thing you'll see is it goes behind the guard. Joe Lewis is like this in range, and David Adelaide, goes behind the guard on to the top of the head, which is great. The block isn't just going to spoon feed you that block. That's a perfect ranged hook. He gets in behind that guard here, which looks absolutely brilliant. We can see the sweat comes off and Lewis stumbles backwards. We see a reaction. We see bang and stumbling, and we're not seeing bang reaction. We're seeing a big shot followed by a reaction. Of course, sometimes you might eat those shots from behind the guard and you might just do this, but this one has pushed Joe Lewis to the side. It has stumbled him that little bit, which looks great. And obviously then Joe Lewis tries to return with an uppercut and kind of lands a really rangy uppercut. I'd probably say the way that lands is great because I like that it does extend the range, but I would say Adelaide's reaction is probably a little bit of a bug because his head does do this all the way. I don't mind that it lands. I just think maybe that's a little bit of a bug, but those things will be ironed out. That's obviously, there's still not even playable for early access yet. So after that little uppercut lands, we see Adelaide load up on a big fat body shot there. Again, shakes the screen. Lewis just takes it just fine. And then we see him load up on another one. This time, now, like I said, that shot where he's leaning back in the body, we've seen 2 of those. Both those shots are just kind of like, they're good and they do damage, I assume, when you play the game. They just kind of land, and that's it. I'm not going to harp on them too much because they land and not much happens. It's not a huge glitch. It's not a huge issue. It just lands and not much happens. However, then we get into this next body shot. Now, this is Lewis then puts his guard up, as we see, and if we slow this shot down for you guys right here, sink that straight into the stomach, and down goes Joe Lewis onto one knee. And then we see him punch the ground out of anger, because you don't want to take a knee. Sometimes it's tough, I've been dropped with a body shot before. It's frustrating, because you feel like you're mentally like, I can keep going, but your body's like, bro, get on the ground. This is killing me. This is season you up. So before I go through it a little bit more, let me show it to you guys in full once or twice more. Sorry.
Almost saw a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute, he caught him clean. The Brown Bomber goes to the canvas. Saw a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute, he caught him clean. The Brown Bomber goes to the canvas.
Now, of course, on the final punch, the shake of the screen always tends to just make things look a little bit more, I want to say somewhat ugly. They always just, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like the shake just kind of throws off that, like, that perfect, visual, no, it's tough to explain. It's just visually more appealing without the shakes on. So when we see the shake land and we see this lovely shot land, the shake kind of goes, and then he slowly takes that knee, which I just love to see. Knee down, one hand on the canvas, and then, like I said, he punches the canvas. Absolutely brilliant clip. I really like it. It's great to see Joe Lewis actually react properly to a shot. Obviously, we saw a couple of shots that, like I said, just kind of landed, and they've probably done good damage in terms of a gameplay standpoint, which is great because it's still a video game. But then we saw the big headshot as well as the shot that dropped him both do some severe damage. And I really like the first shot that Joe Lewis throws. And like I said, you can't really see it in full pace. If you slow it down, you kind of just see Adelaide just take it on the wrist, just a little boom, and then right away kind of catch and shoot, which I like to see. And I really like that this hook here goes behind the guard. That's up to Joe Lewis to move out the way there. I feel like like I said, my only issue is just the fact that whoever's playing as Joe Lewis was relying too much on the leaning back. I think the leaning back looks like it's at a good speed now instead of too slow, because back in the day it was really slow. If we ignore the punch and focus on Joe Lewis's speed to lean back, it looks like a good speed, but it looks like whoever was playing as Joe Lewis is relying too much on it, expecting that hook to the head from Adelaide, expecting it too much. And, sometimes games can just look ugly. Sometimes they can just do things that are great in certain aspects. That hook to the body and that lean back will probably both look great in different scenarios. If that lean back slipped a big hook, we're going to think that looks great. If those body shots landed as Joe Lewis had hands up against the corner, they're going to look great. It's just, I think, just the lean back followed by the body shot, very little reaction, because like I said, Joe Lewis is constantly leaning back, but he's not evading anything, he's just eating shots to the body. But the drop for me really shows a great variety of knockdown animations. I mentioned to you guys long ago that we're gonna see taking a knee because of body shots. It's not going to be like UFC 4 where you land that body shot and your fight just dies. It's going to be, they take the knee. Sometimes they may go into one knee. They may go into two knees. They may just seize up and, on their side like Matthew Macklin did against Triple G. We may see a large variety, but to see Joe Lewis hit the canvas like that, it shows that they want to give us this huge variety of knockdowns. And this is a really solid clip. Like I said, guys, there's of course things to still be cleaned up, which are, of course we have to admit to, because it's not the full release yet. Of course, it's not the final build, but from what we've seen, I like it. Solid body shot followed by the shot over the head, over the top of the head, through the guard, or behind the guard, should I say, not even through the guard, it goes behind the guard, which I just love. I love that the guard didn't instantly do this. There's nothing worse than when you're playing a game and you in close, you get this shot, so the guard does this, and then you just see the game do that for you. I'd like to see that it goes behind the guard. So that would have been Joe. That would have probably been the only prime time for Joe Lewis, whoever's using him, to lean back instead of just taking it. But I think it looks absolutely great. Through the guard, stumbles Joe Lewis, and then again, just a slightly weak body shot, followed by a really nice uppercut to the body instead of just a basic. We see an uppercut straight to the solar plex, causing Joe Louis to take a knee, which just looks absolutely fantastic. I really like this clip. I think in terms of this compared to the Terence Crawford Gatti one, it's night and day. They're making big improvements. I feel like we can honestly say the game is coming together nicely, and of course we'll continue to improve as we play the game in early access, as it updates, and I think that's genuinely exciting. I think, you know, we're seeing some good stuff. You know, I'm definitely a fan of getting a game in early access and being part of that community that helps improve it and helps push those updates out and say this one worked, this one didn't. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think we're definitely seeing that the game is coming together nicely. I really, you know, like I said, other than just Joe Louis' slight reaction to 2 of those body shots, don't really have any huge notes of like, oh my god, this is a disaster, like I did with the Crawford Gatti one, where the reaction just wasn't there. But this time, the reaction is there. The shot over the head to Joe Louis is there. The shot to the body, the reaction is there. It's just maybe that shaking of the screen just isn't for some of you guys. It's not for me. I'm not a fan of the shaking of the screen, at least not in the short format. You know what I mean? So I think it looks brilliant. Before I end the video, I'm going to show you guys one more time.
Almost to a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute! He caught him clean! The Brown Bomber goes to the canvas. Almost to a knockout a second ago. Wait a minute! He caught him clean! The Brown Bomber goes to the canvas.
And, you know, I think it looks solid. I really do. I'm a fan. You guys know I'll always be honest. I like to see it. It's just sometimes, for me, I think my biggest issue at the moment is sometimes we just see it looks like there's always someone playing who doesn't know how to play too well. I see that as a common complaint in my comments as well. But other than that, I think it looks great. Nice body shot. Also, it shows that, you know, Joe Louis wasn't absolutely battered. It was the first round, by the way, guys. So you're going to be seeing fights that can end in an instant. You know, if you get lazy, you get caught with lazy shots, fights are going to end quick, or fights may go the full 12 rounds. And I like that. I like that we're seeing a body shot drop in the first round, you know, with a minute left on that clock. So less than 2 minutes into the fight, we're seeing a body shot drop. We're seeing a head rock. The damage is there, but it's about using the tools correctly. And I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, though. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.